The man of the hour.
Who do you think it is?
Let's go. Put your hands together.
A lot of people say in culture, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I'm going to say that again because somebody needs to hear that because you going through your head, I'm waiting for the perfect moment. I'm waiting for my life to calm down. I'm waiting for things to clear up. But that's never going to happen. When you are destined for purpose, when you have something greater in your spirit, it's always going to be traffic and congestion for where you're trying to get to. So if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So I've been blessed with the opportunity, and I want y'all to go ahead and make some noise if y'all hear it, if y'all know it, if you've seen it, been a part of it. Those who rock with your boy every Wednesday and Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern, make some noise for Get Over the Hump. There we go. There we go. Now, I know for some of y'all it's a little too early, but there is a remnant that gets up early to hear what the Lord has to say. So, for the last 3 years, this is what we do. I knew it. Mama, again. No, that's my mama. That's 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row. That cell phone been on. That's my mama. She knows she catch them jokes when she makes it available. But back on script. So what we get a chance to do on Get Over the Hump is actually enjoy each other, build within the chat. It's good to be able to see some of the faces. But here's what happens. Because of the 3 years of going through this, because the enemy decided he wanted some distractions this morning, both pleasant and unpleasant distractions this morning. I'm going, we don't have to create anything new. The Lord's words never expire. It's like, it's true. And some of these people ain't never heard it. So, God, what you want me to say? So we got something. So here's what we're going to talk about. You see here on the right, we call it in VROS 2025, the release. And it simply means this: you cannot reach what's in front of you, nor let go of what's behind you until you release what's in you. So for my note takers, I'm just going to let y'all know we're going to call this the release. So when you take your notes, it's the release. And I'm going to give you 5 R's, as in Robert. 5 R's. And Shane, be ready, because at some point I'm going to need to cue you, because you know what we do. So 5 R's. And when we were thinking about this release idea, this release concept, it goes back to what was the whole birth and impetus of VROS. It was this day moment, this golden hour moments, and it happens twice a day. The golden hour moments happen twice a day where the sun rises and the sun sets. That means that there's something new and broad that's happening on the horizon, but there's something behind you that's setting. And a lot of times for many of us, we struggle with being able to be excited about what we see because we're holding on to what we have. So in this space, this energy, this time that we're watching what's getting ready to happen, we know it. We can see it. We can taste it. But there's something that's still pulling us on the back. We have to be able to figure out how do we release what's in us so we can grab what's before us. So for those who want to go do this in your devotion time, you write down 2 Timothy 1, 6 through 7. It's kind of the whole premise of what we tried to build VROS off of this year. And for those who've had a time to go through the scriptures, I'll say it real quick. This is Paul talking to Timothy in his second letter, and he really wants him to understand. He's going, hey, there's some external pressures that are starting to happen. There's some things that are showing up that's going to make you believe that you aren't who you are. People are abandoning me, but I want to affirm you, push you, and equip you. I want to affirm you. I want to equip you. And so the affirming is that there was a moment in which, there was a time in which Paul had laid his hands on Timothy, and he was affirmed through the Spirit like, yo, you got the goods. Like, you nice. So the first thing I want us to be able to do, because then he goes into the second verse and he says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear. So the first R I want us to be able to do is recognize. Yep, recognize. First R is recognize. Why recognize? if we are not aware of what's happening, it's difficult for us to be able to move through it. I talked about it a little bit last night. If you've gotten a chance to be able to read my book in chapter 12, when I talk about my brother and sister and how they helped me through a very vulnerable and fragile time, I was able to recognize that there was something wrong. I was recognizing that what was coming out of my heart and how I was speaking about myself felt even bad in the moment to say it. And I needed somebody to help me with it. Recognition. We talked about it a little bit last night too, that just because you understand what the cause is, you don't have the cure for it. So the recognition isn't enough, but we first got to know what's happening. Recognize. Now, let's talk about this a little bit. Use what happened this morning. Me and my dude, Josiah, we're in the car. And we're actually following Ebonique because she's graciously helping Dr. Joy out because she's exhausted. Now, we didn't know that Dr. Joy had the Elon vehicle. We did not. Didn't know she had the Tesla. It was before Elon got to acting up. We didn't know she had the Elon vehicle. So, we out there in the middle of last night trying to get it open. She gone and, looking like, two black folks in front of a Tesla. Wrong people see it. Hey, could be a problem. So, we get into the car this morning. Joe hops in with me. Ebonique takes Dr. Joy's car, and she said, hey, babe, you can go because I don't know how to work these windshield wipers. And I'm like, we're not leaving you. We're going to follow you to be the escort. Well, on our way, we didn't really understand that we would not be escorting her here. As we are driving, and shout out to the DMV. We love y'all, but y'all got traffic on top of traffic on top of traffic. Make you question your salvation because of traffic. So there was no way your boy was speeding. Listen, not even close. But one thing me and Joe did, we recognized them lights when they went off. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, no problem. I ain't tripping. I'm not speeding, so they can't be coming to get me. So my blood pressure don't go up. So Joe will tell you, I pulled over so he can get around me. And he say, we going to get right behind you. Oh, you are coming to get me. What? We having a problem here. But the recognition in that space while I tell the story was, I understood the cultural signal. When the lights go on, you act appropriately. And many of us have a tendency to ignore the signs, the red flags, the things that are happening because we want to be ignorant to it and say, oh, they ain't talking to me. Because if they was talking to me, I got time today. But they were talking to you, so then what's your appropriate response? How do you then address the situation that's before you? Now, we got two black men in the car. We understood. We going to be cool with the cops because I got to get to the venue. Now, shout out to my man, Joe. He said, hey, yeah, he got a big event. He not from here. Can we figure this thing out? And the cop was cool. Praise God, he was black, so we kept it pushing. But I want y'all to understand this. The first piece is do not put yourself in a position where you don't validate what you see. My blood pressure didn't go up. My voice didn't go up because there was no accusation coming from what I recognized that needed to be associated with me. And many of us have a tendency to take on the burden of something that's not yours. I want y'all to hear that. Just because they said it, that don't mean you got to accept it. Because we talked about it last night, is that the connection to God's people, not everybody people. Because listen, everybody ain't God's people. They might be God's image, but they ain't his people. Okay? I want to make sure we get that. All created in his image, but they ain't his people. Jesus clearly, back by the Bible again, Jesus said, hey, who are my mother and my brothers? The one who does my will of the Father, that's which is in heaven. And some of us are giving people a level of credibility that ain't theirs. Giving them a platform that they have not earned. So my man had the badge on, but he still didn't earn the right to pull me over because I ain't do nothing. Which I didn't. So it puts us now in the next spot where we go from rejecting it. We understand that rejecting it just isn't enough. You got to go to the next R. You must replace it. You must replace the fear. You must replace the shame. You must replace the doubt, the disappointment with something else. I tell this story often. My sister's in the back. If you think I'm lying, I'm not making this up, but my mama gonna laugh when I say it. There was, okay, let me see this. Joy, you said this yesterday. Black is black. So I want to see how many black parents did this to their kids. Now, some of y'all a little young, so y'all parents let y'all off the hook, but I'm talking about those that's a little older. Saturday mornings, especially in the summertime, I don't know if y'all got this conversation. Hey, you gonna go outside and you gonna clean this yard and specifically pull these weeds. Okay, I heard some mm-hms. Yeah, I heard some mm-hms. You're gonna pull these weeds. Now, I was confused on why we gotta do this every week. I just did this last week. Pulled them up, and we good. Well, this one particular Saturday, after Angie, myself, and my brother were trying to negotiate to get up later, she says, well, the sun going to be hot at noon. So it's y'all choice. You get up now or you wait. So we get up, so, out there halfway doing it, mad. And I'm pulling on something. I was like, oh, this ain't no weed. This a tree. That ain't my job. We good. I ain't got to worry about this. This is a tree. So, I go in the house. I'm good. And, of course, like a good old black mama from the 80s, let me see what you done did. Boy, you didn't get that one. Mama, that's a tree. She said, no, that's a weed. I'm going, huh? Why do I tell y'all that story? Because many times if you pull it out, what I learned is if you pull it out the ground but don't replace it with anything, it grows back stronger. When you don't grab that thing from the root, if you don't get it from the bottom, it grows back stronger. And so we've been comfortable and we're sufficing in spaces where it looks good on the surface, but we haven't gotten underneath it. It's the awareness where we go to, hey, I know that you're not good for me, but you don't still know what's good for you. So until you can begin to replace what you reject, you will go through this cycle over and over and over again, frustrated that you're still in the same spot. It's impossible to be able to be happy and sad at the same time. I'll challenge you. Tell me how that works. It is impossible for you to be grateful and hateful. It is impossible for you to have vision and limits. So you have to ask yourself the one question: am I willing to be open for what is possible? Am I willing to put myself in a position in which the very thing that I thought wasn't possible actually is? Maybe some other people see what I don't see. I see James Setter right here in the front row. And the one thing I love about her story is that from the moment I met her, she's been open. And her ability to stay and to consistently be open has put her in a position where she's sitting with her book with her right now. Now, James Setter would tell you, she didn't want to do it. But she trusted enough of God's people, connection, that showed God's love, that were replacing the old story, rewriting a new one that gave her the confidence to step out, and that's the evidence there. She recognized that I need to do something different in my life. She rejected that where I was where I was going to stay. She replaced people, thinking, and things to be able to put herself in a position to allow for her to be open to release. Now, some of you all, like myself, I'm not going to put this on everybody. I'm going to talk about myself. So, my guy who you'll hear from here in a little bit, Josiah, he and I were just cracking some jokes. As we get older, I know we got some older people in here that y'all going to laugh, but listen, we ain't hit 50 yet. So, we looking at it a little different. You're going to see in this presentation, you're going to see a young, strapping young man, nice biceps, and, on the court doing his thing. I said, man, boy, I forgot you used to look that good. He said, hey, man, you used to look like that too. I said, my guy, you ain't lying now. You telling the truth. Now, here is what happened. The delusion of 20-year-old athletes. The delusion of taking in, I would just say, part of my dietary. Y'all probably, listen, I'm American. I ain't supposed to be here. Double quarter pounders with cheese with extra mayo, supersized fries, and you doing that 2 to 3 times a week. My heart's supposed to have stopped. Yeah, Steve, you're right. And then when it came back on, it was supposed to stop again. Like, that's not proper stewardship. But then, because we working out 3 to 4 times a day, burning off the foolishness, the arrogance in our brain, because we replacing, hey, we once weren't scholarship people, now we got scholarship. We once were losing, now we winning. That when we get out of school, we go, cool, no problem. I'm going to still keep eating that. Well, you got to figure that out, sir. Because though you were replacing the bad skills on the court with something different, you still weren't reinforcing the habits that were keeping you slim. And I remember walking around the mirror, and I say, who that? I said, oh, that's, nah. So let me go by that again. Oh, sir, that's you. Because I had put myself in a position where I had not changed my habits to reinforce the space or the time of my life that I was in, and I'm still doing old stuff. And many of us are starting to move into a new phase of our lives, still doing old behavior that is reinforcing the past and not reinforcing your present and your future. So you frustrated because you thought I was past this. You frustrated because you thought I was over him. You frustrated because I thought I had gotten myself into a better position, but you're not doing no reinforcing, and at some point you're going to end up right back in the same spot. So we have to put ourselves in the position that if I want to look close to them pictures that Joe's going to show, if I look close to them pictures that I got in my phone, then we got to reinforce good habits. That's going to be exercise and eating right. We got to reinforce good habits that if I want to be a business owner on my own, then you got to reinforce the discipline to handle your schedule. If you want to be the speaker in which people call on, then you got to reinforce the habit of being a better communicator. It's okay to recognize that people will tell you can't do it. It's okay to be able to reject the fear and get motion. It's okay to be able to replace it with some habits, but if we don't put ourselves in a position that as we're releasing to reinforce it, we're going to go back to the thing that's so easy and natural for us. This is our hope this weekend. It's to put you in a position that now you will walk out reinforced because you made the decision to release. It's now easier that when we get back into the world and people say something, we reject that, we recognize, reject it, and replace it. But without the daily reinforcement, we're going to come back to the same spot again, and it's not going to be any progress. So it has been the hope in the heart of all of us that hit this stage to be able to help you have not just inspiration, but equipment and tools that will allow for you to be able to truly release. It just doesn't start with getting to the end of the story. There's a process in which we walk through. And if we begin to walk through the process, you're going to start to hear people say stuff. You don't look like I remember you. You don't talk like you used to. You're going to be so deep into the process, you're going to be like, girl, you look good. There's something different about you. There's a glow that's happening because you've understood that I don't have to announce that I'm recognizing you not good. I'm rejecting that fear don't get the chance to live in my heart. I'm connected now with God's love because I've replaced it. And I'm now moving forward in the release of my authenticity, that I begin to walk into places that I only saw in my mind, that become the vision and the reality of my life, that now as I reinforce it, I don't go back to what I used to. I'm moving to what's in front of me. So just make sure y'all got it. The 5 R's. Recognize, reject, replace, release, reinforce. As we go through our time, if you feel something come up as you're taking your notes that's not aligned with what you believe that you're hearing in your heart, that you can't quite put your finger on, there's your framework. Recognize that's not God. Reject this message because it doesn't allow for you to be free. And take a moment around while you have the people to have them help replace it with something different. Questions and vulnerability that then gives you the opportunity that when you want to do something different that you only see in your mind, there are people that will fly around from all over the country to support, to say, I need to be a part of what you're doing. I need to give you my best, that it reinforces that you never were crazy. They just didn't know what to do with you. Come on, put your hands together as we keep pushing.